What's going on, guys? Hope everyone's having a beautiful morning. Let me also just say thank you to everybody. We hit 500 subs, so thank you. Thank you. It means a lot. I appreciate it. Here's another 500. So what are we going to talk about today? Today is going to be a cautionary tale. No, not really. We're just going to talk about the upcoming TCG sale that's going to happen and things to look out for, things to be cautious of. Maybe just, buckle up, be ready, because we might see some wild stuff. And that doesn't mean you need to get too wild either, though, right? So let's kind of preface this video off by starting. Leverage is a powerful tool, and if used properly, you can do pretty well for yourself. With that said, though, with great power comes great responsibility. And things like leverage and credit cards and whatnot, they can destroy you. They can be your downfall. So, when everyone's seeing videos and hearing about people and thinking about maxing out their credit cards for this upcoming TCG player sale, I don't think it's a bad idea if you know what you're doing and you're using the right cards and getting the right, cash back or no interest, and you're if you know what you're doing, it's a very powerful tool. If you don't know what you're doing, well, you're gonna find out real quick, and you won't be around very long. So that's all I'm gonna preface this video with is be careful, and don't do something you shouldn't do. Now, with that said, let's say you have no intentions of going crazy, which, some of you probably shouldn't, right? And what am I talking about? Obviously, the cyber is in like a week and a half. And it's basically like their cyber, I think it's all weekend. I don't know if it's like better deals on Friday or Monday. But I think it's all weekend long. I could be wrong on that. And we're going to see probably the most movement in product we've seen in a while. Now, it won't be obviously Twilight Masquerade, Surging Sparks, those probably won't move as much. They've kind of already moved, right? Like the stuff that's already blown up, it'll maybe go a little bit more, but it's things like Paradox Rift, Temporal Forces, Stellar Crown, Paldean Fates, the ETB one, not the Paldea Evolved. I get those confused. Those are too closely named. But we're going to start seeing maybe some older sets. Lost Origin, maybe even. Things on that side that if you don't look at the market on Thursday and then you look at it on Tuesday that next week, you might be shocked at what you see and what the prices are of some of these boxes after the weekend. Now, that's not going to be for everything. But this video is for us to kind of just be like, hey, here's some stuff you might want to keep an eye out on. We're going to talk about Pokemon, Magic, Flesh and Blood, Sorcery. Stay tuned to the end. So as far as Pokemon, we'll start with Pokemon. What do I think could possibly see some crazy movement? Personally, I kind of already said base set, Paradox Rift, Temporal Forces. Those are the sets that I think will see some crazy movement. Twilight Masquerade, I really don't think. I think it's already it could go up, right? But we're not going to see some crazy price movements. So as far as Pokemon, I think it's mostly not older, but earlier Scarlet and Violet era sets, right? Now Magic, I think there's a possibility that we see some major movement in the slightly older collector boxes. Like the ones that are still Dominaria United, really any of those booster boxes that are still under $200, and even in that 150, 170 range, I think we're going to see some crazy movement on those. Just a guess, I wouldn't put your money into that personally. Maybe, again, I think that was already I think the move on the collector boxes was 6 months to a year ago when they were in the 110s, 120s. but I think some of them still have some crazy movement to go. I don't think sets like Bloomborough, I don't think it'll hit 300. And I don't think it'll push Foundations much more. It's already at 300-ish. I could be wrong on that. I think it's mostly going to be targeted towards the slightly older, undervalued ones. And then you might see some movement. I am like all in. Well, not really all in, but it's probably most of my Magic collection, besides like the 2 or 3 collector boxes I have. It's all like Lord of the Rings set and draft. I just have a feeling that those, because I was getting them at like 130, 140 a box. So I just have this feeling that those are going to do well long term, because like once like the collector boxes get to like, 1,000, like just way too high. If people want to like draft Lord of the Rings, like now if they do some sort of like Hobbit set and reprint like Lord of the Rings and do like a Hobbit edition or something like that, or they reprint Lord of the Rings again, that could kind of hurt the value of it. But I think Lord of the Rings is a good long-term hold sealed for Magic. Let's talk about Flesh and Blood now. I think there's a good chance that we see some crazy movement on Crucible War Unlimited and Arcane Rising Unlimited. And then maybe even like Everfest and Welcome to Wraith Unlimited. Everfest is so interesting to me because I've told this before, like I had this theory that's, yes, it's kind of like overprinted, but it got so cheap and it was just opened so much because it was such a good value set to open that I wonder if, as far as sealed, if it's going to perform so well since they got rid of the unlimited print run of it and it's just been opened like crazy. So I wonder about that. I think it's funny that Everfest has passed Monarch in price. I'm sure like that no one ever thought that would happen. Like, man, if you could show someone like 2 years ago the price of Monarch booster boxes, I don't think they would believe you. And if you could show them the price of Monarch booster boxes and then tell them that Flesh and Blood is doing amazing, right? That's if you showed them that, they'd be like, oh, the game's dead. But it's like, no, the game's thriving and doing amazing, but these boxes are worthless, which I think is funny. That's another box that I'm like kind of looking at. I have like 3 or 4. I think I have like 3 or 4 loose ones, and I may have a case. I can't remember because cases got below like, I think they were under 300. I think they literally got to like 275, or maybe it was like 300. But yeah, I mean it's crazy. Something to keep an eye out on. That stuff there's just so much of it, but the attrition rate, I feel like there's more people joining Flesh and Blood every day, right? So I don't know. I still have faith. Flesh and Blood sealed is one of those things that I believe in the gameplay. Like I believe in it so much that I think it is in the long term a good idea. And speaking of believing, Sorcery. I don't know if I haven't talked about it, and shame on me for not talking about Sorcery enough. I don't know, you can kind of see one box there. I think that's that's a 39. That's an alpha box. I love Sorcery. To give you an idea, I only got like 3 or 4. I got 3 because I ordered 4 alpha boxes, and one of them got canceled because I bought them when they were like, people were selling them on eBay for like $250, $300 before they got released, like before they even did beta pre-orders. And of course, by the time I think they had shipped them out, they had finally gotten to like $600 to $800. So one of the guys canceled on me, but I was still able to get those for $300, which I thought was crazy. I love Sorcery. I love the art. I love opening it. One day I'll go through my Sorcery single. I'll be honest, I've sold off most of my high-end Sorcery singles just because they were like, at the time I just didn't know if it was going to succeed, and these were like $1,000 cards, and I was just like, I was new to this, and I'm just like, do I hold a $1,000 card of a new TCG that I have no idea how it's going to do, or do I sell it and put most of that into Pokemon Sealed, which I did, and it was like Twilight Masquerade pre-orders for $100, and look what those are now. So I feel good about the sale. I don't regret it. So I pretty much already doubled the money from that sale. So, but I love Sorcery. I have a ton of alpha, cheaper alpha foils that are in like the $50 to $75 range that I'm totally fine with holding long term, just because if it does do well, I think that alpha foils are going to be extremely valuable. So I believe heavily. That's like the one thing where I like believe in the singles is Sorcery alpha singles, foil singles, and then I do have like a few copies of like the Frank Frazetta. Not the foils. I wasn't gonna buy the foils, but I bought, like, to give you an idea, I bought the Courtesan Athias or whatever. I bought a few copies of that at like 180 at the beginning, and those are up to like 280, 315, something like that. So they're doing well. I'm fine with holding those. But yeah, I love Sorcery. I don't know if we're gonna see any huge movement, maybe on like beta boxes. They're around like 180 right now. This might be what it takes to push them over 200. I don't know if they're still doing waves though of beta boxes or if they're done with that. I think Arthurian Legends is a good buy right now. I think it's at like 115 or something a box, so that might be a move. There's a lot of stuff going on, guys. And I didn't even get to the point, like, we may see people liquidating some Bitcoin or any kind of crypto gains. There's some XRP. There's some crazy gains going on right now with crypto. So we could even see some people liquidating to pick up Pokemon. So just don't be surprised if you're not paying attention that weekend and then you check and, like I said, Monday or Tuesday and stuff is through the roof. We may not see much, but just don't be surprised if you do. Again, guys, thanks for all the support lately. It's been awesome. I'm having a super fun time doing this, and amazing feedback, guys. So keep it up. Thanks.